Hello you guys, today I'm going to be doing another affinity tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you guys the very simple ways of sharpening your image. Now, there are multiple different ways for this, including weirdly a a blurring tool, which is kind of weird considering you're sharpening something. So let's get in. So getting right into this, I have a beautiful picture of my friend. Obviously, you can see she is in the school uniform. This was taken so long ago, like like January. God, it feels so weird saying that. So the first way I want to do this is very simple. Live layers. Obviously, you're going to be using live layers for literally all of the filters. It's a fact. You can go clarity, unsharp, high pass in terms of sharpness. Now, there is a couple of little extra ones that they throw in there that they don't tell you about. But let's do these. Right. So, let's start off with clarity. This is a simple mask that is very, very effective against eyes. Obviously, the eye is kind of the main idea, like the main thing. She's staring at you. But if we up the contrast too much, you can see she becomes, kind of teenagey. Yeah, it's a bit growy. So this is where getting your sliders in the correct place is the thing. Now let's have a look, shall we? That one doesn't get too much of the skin. Let's have a look at that, shall we? We shall just Control C, Control V, and then get rid of the clarity mask for. You can see a slight difference. Obviously, YouTube compression is a little bit annoying, but if we just zoom in the eye, you can see there's a bit more sharpness in the fringing of the eye. Now, all these effects will be very subtle if you apply them very well. The thing is, you should always apply clarities and everything like that with adjustment layers. Adjustment layers, adjustment layers, adjustment layers. You'll be using adjustment layers quite a lot. Unless you want to be strange and try personas. Personas are very cool. I wish Adobe adopted them, but you know, Adobe and Affinity don't like each other very well. Yeah, let's add some local contrast. From that to that. You get a lot more dramatic framing. Let's see if we can. There. Right. To get more dramatic, let's try. One more adjustment, and then we'll move on to this next one. Shadows. It's down the shadows quite a bit. And there we go. Now, that, from that, from that. You can see adjusting, getting clarity. Obviously, you can also go back into this, up the strength. That's where it starts to peak on the skin. That looks very, very strong, very, very compelling. Let's get into the next one, which is let's just check, shall we? We'll just do this in order, then we'll go into the slightly unknown ones. Unsharp masking. These, I don't know why they use these as the context terms. The radius is obviously the radius of the masking. The factor is the strength, and the threshold, this is the stupidest part about it, the threshold is the local contrast difference. So, this, if you up the threshold, it won't add clarity to areas where there is very little contrast difference, which means the pinks to the whites and the creamishes the lips won't get any clarity at all, because that contrast between those two colours is very low. From the whites to the green, that's a very different story though. So I'm going to put the threshold up a little bit, and obviously the same idea applies with doing it until you see you start emphasizing the defects in the skin, or you reach peak contrast. I think that's very punchy. Yes, there we go. That's a very punchy mask. I think I'm just gonna undo the opacity a little bit. Good. There we go. So, yeah, you can see it clearly. I don't think YouTube will show it as clearly, but it's definitely there. Let's see what adjustments we can do this time. Let's try color balance. Let's make this into a very conflicting image. So make it very warm, very enjoyable, but then conflict it with the face, which is very cold. So let's just curves is another way of doing contrast or brightness. It gives you a lot more versatility in terms of that. Right, so I'm happy with that. Let's go on to our last standard one, which is everybody's favourite, like literally everyone's favourite, high pass. High pass, this is a very good filter tool. This is not what your image is going to turn out, fortunately. This is a great overlay. And if you see, the more I turn up this pixel, that is 100%, that gives the entire image a live high pass sharpening. That only gives the fringes high pass sharpening, and that only gives there. I never tried monochrome. I don't really know what it does. So what you want to do is overlay. Oh, right. I need to, yeah. So I went from that to that. You can definitely see it in the eyes. There we go. Now if we go into the high pass again. There we go. Look at that. Very contrasty. Looks too over contrasted, right? So let's go for a nice natural look with just a bit of over contrast on the eyes. Same thing applies. Adjustments. Let's try split toning. I'm just going to show you as many adjustments as I can in how you can use them, really. Let's do a colder image. So let's do greens. Red. Yep, I'm happy with that. Curves should fix some of the contrast issues. Yeah, there we go. It's nice curves. So yeah, that is the high pass filter. Let's try the last one. This one is a little bit unknown for most people. I just realised this one might annoy you a bit. There, okay, so raw output format is RGB HDR. You want to put that on in Develop Assistant, otherwise your tone mapping looks very horrible. So, you need to adjust the exposure and turn it down a little bit. Let's put it to that layer, and then let's turn it up, rasterize. So that's one layer. Tone mapping, and the same concept applies to Develop Persona. You can always click this for any pixel layer. Tone mapping just does an extremely it does HDR basically, as you see. That's why I dimmed it down a little bit. Now, local contrast does the same thing as sharpening. It just does it based on HDR. Now, obviously, in this, you obviously get all the sliders, which is why I definitely tell you to try and use the personas the most you can, because it can be very useful in terms of getting the picture completely right before, everything else. And the best part about this is the sharpness tools in this are a lot better. So let's have a look. Up the radius, you can obviously see none, lots, none, lots, none, lots. So let's have a look. That looks very punchy. Just going to turn it down a little bit because obviously they are fringing on the skin. Let's add a little curve. Let's do... Now the thing with this is, as soon as you start adjusting curves, you want to go back to local contrast, because this looks excellent. So basically what I've done is I've created a HDR image from a standard SDR, one SDR image. So that's pretty cool, don't you think? Let's apply. Now let's have a look at one tone mapping. Boop, 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 boop. Lot more contrast. Obviously down here there's a bit too much artifacting, a bit too much black. But the eyes, I think, are a bit perfect, to be honest. Now, let's go into our last one, which is blurring. Or, well, to be honest with you, there is two. I've just thought of the other one. The other one's very simple. It is a multiply, and then I can't remember which one it is. It's one of these somewhere. Yes, I think it's multiply. That applies more local contrast. That in itself is a sharpness layer. contrast differences and sharpness are very similar. Yes, not the exact same thing, but they are very, very similar. And if you do the contrast up a bit, then you will have sharpness on that layer. The last one that I spoke about obviously was blurring. Now, this is a very cool effect. I quite like it. Let's get into it. So what you want to do is duplicate the other layer effect, not layer effects, live filter. You want to go to, oh no, come on. I think it's a Gaussian. I'm not sure. You want to apply a Gaussian. You can preserve alpha if you want to or not. Gaussian is your favorite friend in the world. You want to apply a multiplier to that Gaussian. There we go. Obviously that's done a bit of sharpening. However, the next things will apply a good sharpness. You want to go into another live filter. You want to get ripple. Apply the ripple. Like so. There we go. There we go. Now what you want to do is just do the contrast opacity a bit. Then you want to go into your you want to mask it off. Oh yeah, I can't remember why did I have to forget that you can't layer mask filters? So I'm just going to opacity 63, hardness quite lower. You're just going to take away the areas you don't want sharpening. So that will be the lower face, the skin, especially the skin. Now obviously I'm being a bit quick. You would be a little bit more precise than this when you were doing it. Now, as you can see, there is a bit more sharpness around the eye. Didn't really work well with this photo, to be honest. Let's try. It mostly works well with pure eye photos or silhouette photos. It didn't really work well this time. Play around with it, add different live layer effects. Thank you for watching and goodbye.